It is VESL once more. Week 3 kicks underway with Valorant on Wednesday, as per stock standard. I'm Time to Light. That right there is Marks. And Marks, we've got another week of Northeast Valorant here in the VESL Varsity Esports and STEM League. I gotta say, a couple new teams, 4 new teams to be specific, and a couple new maps ahead of us as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be exciting. Obviously, you know, if you're any familiar with what's going on here, we're going to be having a couple of best of ones in front of us where we get to see a lot of these teams just kind of go head to head up against in various matches. And I do believe we've got 2 matches in front of us for this evening.
Yeah, we've got 2 ahead of us. I'm really excited for our first one, mainly because it's Ascent. It's our first map. I'm going to leak it. Sorry ahead of time. But the main reason is because high schoolers play Ascent in very drastically different ways than everybody else. College teams play a little different, but they still run the same standard composition.
Yeah.
And then challengers and obviously pro teams run it because they're challengers and pro teams. But Ascent here in our first map, I gotta say, I'm pretty excited to see what the high schoolers are bringing out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to be starting things out with Roxborough up against NC Virtual, which both of these teams, they've been on this stream before, not necessarily against each other, though, so this is the first time that we're kind of getting that matchup to kind of see what that is going to be like. But, you know, once again, this is VESL. This is high schoolers coming into it, and this is the moment where you get to see a lot of those fundamental pieces get put into place. And so you can take a look at things and be like, oh yeah, this is meta. Oh, you have to do this.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know, just in the spirit of the game, it's exploratory and fun. Fun is important.
Now, one big thing to note about VESL is that it is helped out by the North Carolina government. This is run between almost every single high school in the state of North Carolina. It is also split up between a bunch of regions, divisions, conferences. You get the idea. Basically how it works, you play regional play in the first couple weeks of the season. That regional play then gets you put in the regional playoffs. Those are played in person, and every single regional playoff will feed a couple teams into the state finals, which, you guessed it, are also played in person. It's really nice when everybody's located in the same general state. Now, North Carolina, a little spread out and elongated, but it helps regardless. I love the format. I love the fact that the North Carolina education side of things is helping out the students play. And if you just watch the new VESL YouTube video, go from the live tab to the videos tab. We just watched a bunch of kids build computers. I watched it last night. It was unironically very funny. Pretty nice.
And this is last week, but it is 100% worth reiterating how cool it is that these opportunities now exist for high schoolers to participate in this type of stuff. I mean, okay, yeah, when I was in high school, none of this was even imaginable.
Back in my day!
All right, come on, you don't need to shame me. But it genuinely is really nice to see that a lot of this infrastructure is put in place to let these opportunities happen. And so it's so cool being able to see all of the work that VESL is doing.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. We also have a couple teams that in previous weeks, we'll say, have had a lot of time to learn. That's the one thing that I've seen between this and Rocket League, the other game I cast here, is teams have been learning mechanically or otherwise. They've been improving. I like to see between week 1 and like week 4 or 5 when we get to the first week of regionals or the last week of the regular season. Because remember, colleges can pull from across the entire United States, and even beyond that, we're seeing some players be imported from beyond the shores of the United States or contiguous 48. But here in high school, you've got your region, your district. You've got to pull from those specific players, and here we're seeing a lot of those players are pretty freaking good at Valorant or Rocket League or Smash in some cases. Here is Roxborough versus NC Virtual. This is Ascent as our first map, and it looks like, at least on one side, we've got your stock standard composition. On the other, not so much.
Well, stock standard not yet. There still is a little bit of an opportunity for something to change up here, but based off of how Roxborough have been playing these last couple of weeks, I expect to see something a little bit more standard coming out from this squad, especially coming into Ascent, which is the one map in Valorant at this point that has never left rotation and never been changed. I'm a lot more interested, though, on what NC Virtual are cooking up on their side. I mean, you know, obviously the Yoru is something that we can talk about a ton, but at the same time, bringing in a Gecko, this is a little bit more unconventional. You usually pick that Sova for that recon dart and as well as the Owl drone, but Gecko has seen a lot more playtime, and so I'm so curious to see how that Gecko is going to kind of fit into the puzzle that is this NC Virtual team.
So, Gecko Yoru, and it's really just to replace the Sova and Jet. I like the Yoru selection, especially considering it's high schoolers. Sometimes you could just throw somebody off. They're expecting one thing. They're not going to expect something else. I also like the Gecko because it still finds a decent bit of information. Thrash is very useful, but Wingman. And on a map like Ascent, Wingman could be so impactful on the B site, whether it's in through the A main position. It doesn't expose you more than Sova may. The Owl Drone and Thrash are kind of similar, but one's an ultimate, one's very easy ability to buy for 200 credits. I like the fact that you're swapping out those agents rather than Gecko in for KO.
Yeah, it also is going to be interesting because, you know, bringing in that Gecko, that means that there's even going to be more flashes coming in. Obviously with the Yoru as well, even more flashes. Yeah. And so I'm expecting to see NC Virtual go for a very like, all right, gang, let's go in there, and then just no one is going to see a gosh darn thing, but they're going to be in on the site, get all the information where everyone is, and just kind of sweep things through. At least that's kind of what I would expect out of a more composition similar to this one. Whereas on the flip side, Roxborough, I mean, the reason why you pick this composition is to do a little bit better of a job of clearing out certain areas and making sure that you can control certain points by like flushing people off angles with those Sova shock darts, as well as getting Jet in really quick. And so without that kind of pressure, this is two very different styles now that could clash up against each other. And well, I'm curious to see how it's going to play out.
So notably enough, Roxborough, their composition helps a lot more for their attack. It helps them take the sites, but it may not help them hold the sites long term. A lack of a Sova may not assist in all that much, but on the defensive side, they are going to be much better at retakes compared to NC Virtual. So keep all this in mind as we move into the game, because it could just be so much easier for Roxborough, should they play things correctly and early, to take things and walk in. Braden will find the opening. Saturn is quickly taking care of the first death of our first game today, but Ice Bear finds one refrag. Anything more? Not so much.
Yeah, now this should be pretty easy to get that plant down, assuming that Wingman will be the one going forwards and doing so. But actually, they're holding close to the door. Izumi actually just on the other side, but finally the plant happens.
Took them a little bit, but they decided, yeah, I will indeed go for it. I don't think a Wingman was previously invested, so they decided to manually do it and put themselves in the site instead. Sometimes that's the call to do so. Walk in. Alarm bot triggers both, so vulnerable up top could make things difficult. Braden finds 4. Braden's on for the ace and will find it as well, wasting absolutely no time to get high up on the scoreboard. All 5 for the Yoru. Who cares about agent selection? You can aim like Braden.
But at the same time, one of those things that I mentioned just at the start there, it felt like that was actually something that we were getting to see. A lot of flashing just kind of going off there. So every single time we did see the defenders trying to move in there, trying to go in and play that retake, wasn't possible because, oh, there's a Dizzy. Oh, there's a flash. Hey, this Yoru's up here. It was just so difficult for them to try and manage or even set anything up just with the amount of flashing that was going on.
Yeah, well, it may be a little bit more difficult to hold the site. Flashes certainly assist in that endeavor. And like I said, NC Virtual are going to have some difficulties with those retakes because of the lack of true initiation utility. Flashes are alright, but they aren't going to change the scope of a game. And with Roxborough winning the round, getting the spike down, and having a casual ace from their Yoru, it is a nearly full buy across the board. Braden finds a 6th. Are they going to find 7 early? No, it'll be a spike plant in the 5u.
Yeah, and the spike is now going to be going down here. We're already seeing a little bit of coordination coming in from NC Virtual, but it's too late. Roxborough already set up.
Yeah, there's not much you can get in here with either lack of utility because, well, it's a save round post loss of the pistol, and the information already gained on the opposing side. 0 point is fairly useful, and Lanoob does find something to write home about, but there's Braden with their now 7th kill on the game. It seems like it is a one-man wrecking crew on for 8, make it 9. Will we see back-to-back aces? They run out of ammo, but with 24 HP, it's one tap. It'll be back-to-back aces. We've got 10 kills from one player in 2 rounds. NC Virtual seems like an Achilles heel is named Braden.
That is honestly just unbelievable what we gotta see there. I mean, also too, the confidence kind of coming in. First of all, just looking at the scoreboard alone is kind of crazy. Braden with 10 kills, literally nobody else has a kill there. Like, what do you do against that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, on the bright side, Roxborough, the correct players are dying. you have your initiators with 2 deaths and 0 kills, because in all fairness, they've just been the ones focused down, and Brayden's stealing all the kills. It's rude, but honestly, it's very impressive. And Roxburgh's just going back to A. And I don't think NC Virtual is going to make this adjustment quickly. 0 point's going to be very good. It'll find 2, but Brayden actually gets shut down mid-deployment of their ultimate. So, they either no, they lose the ultimate entirely. Oh, that's the wildest bug I've ever seen. I don't think that's intentional.
No, I don't think that was indeed. I mean, obviously that was going to be the entry frag potential. Izumi already, though, takes off the head here, so that's a lot of space, but Billy Boy trades it back.
Billy Boy with the refrag. The noob.com is gone, and Moondog and Hog is walking through Catwalk, finding a free one. The jet being dispatched of, and that's probably the A site gone. KO's going to be seen by the 0 point, swung by 3 players, does kill 2 of them. What a spray transfer and spray down of the combo of Roxborough players, but it's still a 2v2 and a spike plant is very much on the way.
Wingman's planting.
And Wingman now going to be getting that one down. It's going to be this 2v2 exactly like you said. So quite a bit of Gecko utility on the board here, which should make it a little bit easier, especially keeping that Killjoy alive. Should allow for a couple more options for Roxborough to defend this post plant.
Oh, and Moondog playing inside of A main. This is a great bit of anonymity because of the swing from that, we'll say, tree position. The problem is Izumi already winning that fight. Will try to take out some utility and is successful in doing so. Spray down in a 1v1, but Izumi sticking it on the backside of Generator. Ended up getting off of it, but at least gets it to half. The problem is, with all that time gone, there goes your ninja availability. Moondog walking in, doesn't know where it's planted. The lack of communication and the kill going Izumi's way. NC Virtual's on the board.
I was just about to say that I think that Izumi made a little bit of a mistake going for the reload after getting it to half, because that tells your opponent, hey, I've gotten off the spike now, so, you know, you might want to stay back. And quite frankly, Moondog and Hog was doing a fantastic job at playing off that sound cue, but then all it took was just put the smoke down, and just a little bit of that mind game works out in NC Virtual's favor, so they walk away with the round, but it wasn't an expensive one for them. Only 1 person alive, and so their buy is a little bit scattered. Roxborough about the same as well, though. So this is the first round that we're seeing that, generally speaking, across the board, weaponry-wise, pretty evened out.
Brayden with only a sheriff in hand. Did hit a fair few headshots. No way. Okay. I think he actually still hit a head. That is insane.
That was a shoulder shot, yeah.
Running through a smoke, you should be able to find something, but the paranoia will at least shut down that endeavor. A smoke on the other side, though. This should still be a fairly easy site to take, and it is. No one's home. They're all sitting heaven, except for a swing from Ice Bear. Wow, overzealous and successful.
A little bit of information goes, but at the same time, it goes down. Doesn't matter. NC Virtual ready for this retake.
Seemingly fairly comfortable with the fact they're being swarmed. 4 versus 5. Reswing towards tree unsuccessful, and that may be the Achilles heel of this round. Listening, finding one, looking for a second, doesn't find it, but Izumi will. 1 player sitting held, the other one sitting on the backside of Generator isn't cleared, and it's a 2 versus 2. Izumi knows where both players are, swings one and kills him. The second on the backside of that site, though, it's Sover needing to swing, and quickly so. Izumi gets off, but will reswing once more, finding 3 kills, this time on their doppelganger, and again, comfortably finding the spike defuse. I feel like we have our 2 Goliaths identified thus far.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit there, but honestly, such an interesting round that just played out in front of us, because we saw the defenders, they were more or less did a bit of a gamble stack onto A, only really left their Killjoy in mid to play off the information from the utility, but once they just realized, hey, this is going to be an A hit, they immediately just moved around and just wanted to focus on playing that retake, and that forced Roxborough into a very uncomfortable position, because they did not have time to get themselves set up. And as a result, NC Virtual, it got a little bit close there, but it was chaotic. And that's not the situation Roxborough wants to be on that post plant. Now this time, though, moving in onto B, this is a new look from them.
Well, that's a great way of baiting out utility. Throw out a single smoke and a Yoru clone, and magically nano swarms and an alarm bot are gone. Everything basically already taken care of. Good paranoia, but nobody's really there to follow up on it. So this will be a spike plant, just a little delayed. Fallen, however, does have Thrash, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, now the spike goes down here. Billy Boy in an interesting spot, might get caught out, and now the utility going down. Nice Bear picks up the first.
Billy already gone. This 5 versus 4 looks very clean, but a late decision to pop out the lockdown. Ice Bears picked up a second, and that could very easily be sprayed through the wall, or you could spray the actual player themselves. Lockdown's destroyed. Ice Bears in the middle of sight somehow. A 2 for 2, a spray down by Sober. It becomes a 1 versus 2. Braden has no utility and very little HP. It's 2 headshots basically required with the Sheriff. Shot dart kills him. What a snipe. Bows and arrows. Basically Hawkeye if you're an Avengers fan. And NC Virtual, with the time dwindling, with 0.8 of a second remaining, they pick up the round.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact, too, that they had a much bigger weapon advantage, you could tell, once again, they're leaning into that retake strategy. They're more confident on the retake. I do think that lockdown, exactly like you said, Dan, Moondog and Hog threw that one down, and it was just in such an open position that it was very easy for NC Virtual to go in. And I thought that Ice Bear actually was going to be the one to shoot it down. But no, actually just goes in instead and gets the kills. The rest of the squad behind spray down that lockdown, and then the rest is history. Going to be a rifle round more or less across the board, but NC Virtual very much in the lead with the ultimates that they have available. Right now, I'm sure you hope, or I'm sure Moondog and Hog wants that lockdown back available, but unfortunately not going to be the case. So NC Virtual poised to come out the victor of this round if they can land everything.
0 points traded. Each of them identify 1 and then 2 players from the other team, and another 1-for-1 trade. Both KOs are down. They traded 0 points, they traded each other, and it's a 4v4 post plant.
And post plant once again seems to be the name of the game. Ice Bear though keeping it nice and crispy. Sober Chan already down, and now the retake can go.
Thrash deciding to be used, but without much information. Thrash is going to walk in, will be shot down, fairly inconsequential usage there, but at least slows things down. So the time now favoring Roxborough and the players as well. It is brought back to a 3v3, and Braden has moved all the way back into A main. Defender lockdown, but Braden has avoided most of it and can still fight from that position. He will end up being the final boss, as both players will indeed be caught by the lockdown. It comes down to Braden. How much can he do? Already the hero in rounds 1 and 2, but has been shut down since, and that accolade will continue. Listening to 2093,
not enough time.
We'll find the defuse. Maybe?
Yep,
No,
not
it
enough
won't.
time.
0.4 of a second. I thought they had it.
It was one of those things where it was so closely coming down to the clock, but at the same time, like, NC Virtual, that hesitation, I'm going to call it. I think it actually was the Dizzy that went up there, because Ice Bear was set up for success to shut Braden down, and the rest of Roxborough were like stuck onto the site in that lockdown. But just because of that one Dizzy that went up, made Ice Bear have to retreat, giving just that extra second of time to make sure that they were going to be able to secure the round. That one went down to the wire. I do think NC Virtual looked really good on that retake. Didn't even invest that many ultimates, just the lockdown. But still, Roxborough come out with the win. And right now, it's all tied up 3-3. This is a very close match between these squads.
I'm gonna be honest, I truly thought it was a lock for NC Virtual. The lockdown was well timed, but a few seconds late. And the other problem was, as soon as the lockdown went off, they took a few seconds to swing. They were still worried about Braden. I feel like that re-swing from listening should have been maybe a couple seconds earlier, considering the lockdown. And Braden could have been double swung from heaven because they had the guaranteed information from before. Sometimes it comes down to tenths, hundredths of a second. In that case, 4/10 of a second. The round prior, it was 89 hundredths of a second. We are getting down into the nitty-gritty of the prior 4 rounds. The spike has been planted in every single one of them. I believe it was planted in rounds 1 and 2 as well, but it didn't get a chance to go off. But it's either been a defuse or a spike explosion that's determined nearly every round thus far, and I am here for it. I love this game thus far.
And at the same time, I think that it just goes to show how much of a presence one player can kind of have. Braden just being alive was so instrumental on that last round. It's going to be the ultimate popped right off the bat, as we do get to see Roxborough start to invade onto that B site. And actually, they will be able to claim it and should be able to get that spike down. Once again, NC Virtual just kind of defaulting to go for this post-plant fix and just try and move in that way.
I like it. I like the decision. They've exposed 2 ultimates. They forced out a decent bit of utility. This is going well thus far for NC Virtual, but the problem is this rotation took a little bit longer than I would have liked. A little bit of time they really don't have to spare, and they don't have primary weaponry. That may be their downfall when time comes down to it. Watch out for the classics. Watch out for the saved weapons. I think the Jet is either disconnected on A or is just sitting over there knowing they're going to save. Great Nano Swarm goes out and forces the Echo out of position. They are looking for exit frags, if not just a complete domination of the economy on towards Roxborough's side. Good Bucky, an even better Shock Dart, but Brayden kills 2 in return. Everybody should get away from this spike, except for maybe the KO. Yeah, the KO dies, and I didn't think Lanoob was going to die anyway. The Jet has indeed disconnected. We're probably going to see a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with how that last round went, you could tell that there might have been a couple of issues happening more on the tech side of things, resulting in that little bit of frustration from NC Virtual. I mean, they didn't seem like that they were ready for that, understandably so, and so Roxborough more or less were able to walk in and just kind of have a ball. But right now, high impact player, obviously Brayden, kind of at the top there, just being so instrumental in finding these frags, taking so much space as well. I mean, it's fantastic stuff that's going to be happening. And now, once again, it's this 5 stacks from Roxborough. They've been successful this far. Let's see if NC Virtual give it up or try and contest.
So 2 players sitting in heaven. Again, the Jet just now coming back. We did not have a technical pause between rounds, but a good 0 point has basically forced everything away from Roxborough. They didn't aggress immediately. They still have to deal with Azumi, who they do so immediately. Return null command by NC Virtual, but again, a spike plant regardless.
And that's going to be going down there. A lot of utility this time forced out from NC Virtual, but now they're moving in.
Team Flash. They're going for it quickly, but the problem is that flash misses. They have very little information, and there's 4 players sitting in A main. This is planted open. I believe there's Nano Swarms on top of the spike, so keep that in mind for the attack when time comes down to it. But no, a late set of Nano Swarms will be thrown. And a Shock Dart could deal with that, or a Shock Dart could deal with Ballin if it's thrown properly, just barely misses. But watch for the lock-in. Everybody's starting to swing. 1-for-1 trade. Shock Dart is indeed sniped out. Never saw a pre-fire with a Shock Dart before, have ya? A second Nano Swarm also thrown. A fragment as well. The kitchen sink, the whole 9 yards. Every idiom you can think of in the English language has been dedicated towards this post plant, including a couple true gunshots. Moondog will die, so too will I'm Saturn, and Roxborough take a 2-round lead.
Yeah, that's so painful towards the end there. I mean, you're poised to win that one. They were winning the gunfights. Everything was working out well for them, and just couldn't get the defuse because there's so much of this spam just coming out and preventing that defuse from even going on there. One thing to quickly highlight, actually, is these Shock Darts from NC Virtual. They've been pretty consistent, actually, at getting kills. It's kind of unbelievable how much value those Shock Darts you are getting. I mean, you expect to see them gonna go in there, clear or force positioning out from your enemy team, but hardly ever getting those kills. Not the case this time. Roxborough, I mean, they're scared now. Every single time the Shock Darts are coming out, they have to be a little bit more cautious about where they're kind of stacking themselves.
They've had 2 kills with 1 Shock Dart. They had a pre-fire Shock Dart and a good old get somebody as they're swinging Shock Dart.
Yep.
This has been a very interesting game of Shock Darts. Nobody clears a corner, by the way. That's a position you need to work at. I'm Saturn finds 3 kills. Nobody clears them. Finally, Billy does and takes out their doppelganger, but it's just too little too late. Zoverchan has to 1 versus 4 against a Bladestorm and 4 very angry members of the North Carolina Virtual Academy. I don't think this is going to go their way.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit of a tough one. Right now, you can see NC Virtual just swarming around like sharks. Not even really a point of picking up that ultimate orb as well, because from the shadows already online, just going to walk into the trap, and listening is going to be able to take them out. A very decisive round coming in from NC Virtual, all thanks to 1 KO being in the right spot without anyone clearing them. And that is going to secure NC Virtual's economy to be able to continue things forward, while Roxborough in a little bit of a rough spot. I mean, Brayden has been doing a fantastic job, but the team needs to be able to start being able to play a little bit more effectively together in order to start pulling these rounds back and, you know, continue their lead.
Now, the other thing to note is NC Virtual has been a lot more consistent across the board. I say that as I'm Saturn disconnects from the game as the round starts. So I'm Saturn's not going to be consistent. Lanoob, that is a position inside of Market. They are watching the Market door from Market while their Omen has taken full mid control. 0 point will extend towards them and the Killjoy. So they completely take out the alarm bot. All you have to do is shoot it because it will reactivate itself. But a full sight take and a quick flank. Keep an eye on this.
Yeah, that's going to be really important right now, but it doesn't matter because Roxborough like to just kind of burrow themselves into the actual site. Ice Bear starts it out, raid boss down.
Oh, and Ice Bear finds a second. This is just insane to see on a consistent basis. Mosh is pretty good. Ballin has absolutely no primary weapon, though, and it's just a walk in the park for Ice Bear. I'm Saturn's AFK on the A side. They will certainly have no further impact.
There's
another
shock
dart
dart.
kill. No one just barely misses. Too far, I guess. Silverchan dies anyway. NC Virtual ties up.
Man, I was hoping we were going to see at least one more shock dart kill. But, you know, the map is still early on. There's only 2 more rounds left in this half. But I'm confident we're still going to be able to see one more shock dart kill. But NC Virtual, I mean, that was clean. They had the weaponry, and they kind of just rolled in like a Zamboni on some fresh ice. Like, it was so easy for them to just make their way onto the site. You saw a couple of mollies come out there, and nothing really was stopping them down. Just confidence play from Ice Bear, just swooping in there. Rest of the team to follow, just walked right through the mollies and just cleaned house. And as a result, they take that round back very decisively. And this is going to be a full weapons on both of these sides. A thrash available for Roxborough. Also, too, I mean, Hunter's Fury online for NC Virtual, and that is a very powerful ultimate. Ooh.
You're lucky hockey is big in North Carolina. So
yeah, I'm aware.
Joke lands. Yeah. Roxborough, you had some difficulties. You definitely saw where that came from. The 0 point should have been identified. Fragment lands, though, and with this lockdown, you want to push in as the lockdown is activated so you can take full advantage of the room you're gaining. I don't think they're going to completely isolate out that KO, and more importantly, they don't know he's there. No, I'm Saturn walked in too quickly. Remember, the pulse goes off after the timer expires, and that's what cost him his life.
Good mosh being thrown out there, stalls it out just for a second as we do see this flank getting set up here, but it's actually being checked by Billy Boy, so they're aware.
Flash around the corner as well. Listening mostly avoids it, but a reflash from the opposite side will make things a little difficult. But this heaven position just completely identified from the start. Great dart cover as well. Will actually make sure all that information is there. Watch out for the omen sitting in the corner. There's no way you clear this on a consistent basis. Oh my gosh, Ice Bear does. Never mind, I lied. My bad, I guess. Nanostorm, however, will certainly end the round. Roxborough, regardless of what goes on here, will win this. It just comes down to how much they save at the end of the day, and the answer seems to be, I'm going to say 2 of their guns. Ooh. No, 1 of their guns. That's a problem going to the last round.
Yeah, I mean, the economy was really tight for both of these teams. Let's see what they're going to be able to buy up. It actually looks like NC Virtual will have more than enough. That's right, I forgot. A little bit of a disconnect makes the economy a bit easier for them. As Roxborough, we're going to try and scrap together a buy for this last round. But the problem on that last round for NC Virtual was they were having a difficult time at weeding out those people who were hanging out back of A. You know, they have to just be a little bit more aggressive. Use their utility to push out and clean up those kills because those lineups, there's not much you can kind of do about them unless you just force them out really early, but time has not really been on NC Virtual's side when they go for these retakes. But with the information now, I am assuming we should see a fast rotate around, and yeah, NC Virtual are already making their way around.
They're wasting no time looking to get in. No command popped. They have a decent bit of space, and the 2 smokes will make perfect use of this space. Again, we're going to see a spike plant. It's going to be a 5v5 once more.
Oh, it's going to be a brawl on the site as well. Once again, just anchoring themselves in there. Braden, the only one off the site, could catch an off angle here. Once again, Hunter's Fury still available, and already,
what?
Ultimate's coming out.
Braden didn't know. Braden had no idea. From the Shadows was used right into B main. Braden was sitting on the stairs of Market, had absolutely no idea. When the spike is planted and you're on the defense, Nationwide may be on your side to, we'll say, hinder the explosives, but Time certainly is not. They understand that. It just took them a few rounds to do so. NC Virtual walks in, couple kills start to go their way. It's down to just Ballin, and my dog is very much dead. 6-6, drawn at the half, and we are dead even through 50% of this game.
Yeah, NC Virtual, I mean, hey, I was excited for that Hunter's Fury, and I was not disappointed. Obviously, a very pivotal kill for Azumi to be able to take out Braden, just like you highlighted. The fact that Braden goes down there makes it so that they're like, all right, we know that they're all going to be on site. I mean, the recon dart got all the information. Hunter's Fury gets popped. You can see that Roxborough were struggling to kind of keep the foot in the door as we got to see the flood in from NC Virtual. But now, sides are going to be swapped around here, and this is where I'm going to be a little bit more interested in how Roxborough want to play this defense. Like I highlighted earlier, very heavy flash composition, but that doesn't quite work out as well when you're on defense. I expect to see Roxborough play a little bit more aggressive. I think they're going to have a little bit more success there if they do push into NC Virtual's space. But NC Virtual have to do a good job of keeping that in check.
The pistol round last time was a casual ace and a very clean round win for Roxborough. This time, maybe a little bit more difficult. Silverchan is also disconnected. Apparently, North Carolina high schools are great for esports. The infrastructure maybe not so good for the internet.
Ooh.
Ballin already finding the opening though. Good start. They do get caught by a 0 point, but that information was already known, so fairly inconsequential. And they've got now, so pretty good, all things considered for Roxborough.
Paranoid gonna get used onto site here, but the Dizzy actually keeping Azumi at bay. Keep in mind, a lot of stall potential currently available here. Yeah, it's all the information kind of given away. And now NC Virtual, they have to make a decision. Are they going to commit to this? Or do they back off? It seems that Roxborough actually have vacated the site, only leaving 2 as opposed to the 4 that were originally there. This could be the opportunity.
I'd be very surprised if we see Roxborough move from their current positions. Ballin wanted to go for a little bit of information. Again, their position is seen. A dark cover does not fully cover that alarm bot, but the kill onto Moondog certainly will. Ballin's back shoulder's also seen, so the site will certainly be taken. And there's a rotate going through mid. Remember, Sover is AFK sitting in market, so they will certainly die, and in the end, do indeed do so. But the sheriff from up above will have no further effect. Braden is absolutely annihilated, and it becomes a 1 versus 3. Remember, because Sover was AFK, they did not give over the information that there was a flank coming through, but Billy seems to be aware of it anyway. 1 kill already picked up, looking for a second, but runs out of ammo, and in the middle of reloading gets re-swung by their doppelganger, and will go down. The attack is 2 for 2. Roxborough, however, cannot say the same on their pistol rounds.
Yeah, everybody make sure to check when you hear that reload sound. That's a good time to decide to push into it. And also, too, like you said, there was that flank already being set up. Even though, you know, sure, no information was given away, the fact that that agent goes down should have been enough to at least know that that was happening, potentially pressuring the attack to be a little bit more, pressuring the retake to happen a little bit more faster. But regardless, NC Virtual walk away with the round. You'll be seeing them buy up their SMGs. Saturn going just for the sheriff this time. But of course, this is going to be an interesting one. So much room already gained, actually, on mid. This is kind of slipping away, and yeah, Roxborough, they respect it.
Problem is, the spike is not here yet, so this will be a fairly quick rotation for the spike to go down. It will seemingly be a 4 versus 4, as again we've got a lurk in through mid. So we'll say for the time being, even though there's 5 players alive on each side, it is indeed a 4 versus 4. Spike still has yet to go down. Izumi takes the fight alongside their Sova and will win it. And Ice Bear is sitting in hell. This is a perfect position to play. Sova goes for 1 and gets that flank of the Killjoy, but it's really not going to mean all that much when Ballin only has a classic and you've picked up whatever gun they had previous.
And the door's already closed too. Heard the drop down, and so that's why the smoke goes in there. Owl Drone scouts it out. All the information given away, and on top of that too, that Omen so far away. This round is done and dusted.
So, what's the economic damage? Second round would be pretty good to at least make sure that bonus is a little bit more expensive. Silver finds a second, is fully flanking this one. Does a little bit of damage, but again, nothing to write home about. 3 kills for Izumi. Very good thus far. In a sense, and it's NC Virtual doing the exact same thing we saw from Roxborough in the first half. First 2 rounds fairly successful, they take A site successfully both times as well. Post plant's good. What, however, happens in the bonus?
This is going to be the big question here. We're actually seeing NC Virtual once again going for the buy up. Going to be bringing in a couple of Vandals potentially this round. I mean, to be fair, Saturn did only buy a Sheriff on round number 2. Weapons are a little bit scattered here, but Roxborough fully committing to it. A little bit of a different look from them as they pressure out of A a little bit more to get that information. And quite frankly, that should give the team more than enough to work on the fact that we are seeing NC Virtual get ready for the speed-side attack. If you need any more confirmation, Killjoy Turret will give you that.
All the info needed. Now, the Killjoy Turret has been removed. However, the Nanoswarm and Alarm Bots have not. Or Nanoswarms plural and Alarm Bots singular have not. Paranoia and Dark Cover are traded. There's a flank. Billy Boy has most of mid control and just gives it up unprompted. That could be a concern.
And honestly, that's kind of the right read, all things considered, because there is a rotation going around. Brayden actually went all the way back into spawn and is now finally making their way through here, but Billy Boy in a great position. Punish!
Clean as you like, finds 2 with the Vandal, and can just patiently wait in the corner because the door was already closing. It's the timing that goes their way, but the timing the opposite direction does not. The alarm bot, as of right now, is not activated. Because of the radius of the Killjoy, the alarm bot on the left side of your screen now is not activated, so that information is not given over, nor are that Nanoswarm combo hopped immediately. This will be a post-plant, just a 3v5 favoring Roxborough.
Wow, that was... I mean, they just got the site for free. Roxborough rotated a little bit too aggressively, potentially trying to read into this, a similar strat of their own. You know, oh, all of them are here? Okay, let's send everyone over there because they're going to commit. But no, not the case. Free plant down, and now Roxborough start to make the retake.
Oh, and Brains already seen 1. Their position is noted, but it really doesn't matter when you've got aim like they do. Yoru finds 1. The refrag is there by listening. A re-swing does go their way again, but it comes down to 1. 1 versus 3 for the Omen, sitting inside their own dark cover. And outside their own, it's Azumi with a second. Recovers a Vandal, but doesn't actually equip it in time. Silverchan has enough time. And Roxborough, it's deja vu all over again. First 3 rounds, the exact same way we saw in the first half.
Yeah, and on top of that too, like that is quite a bit of economic damage at least kind of inflicted onto Roxborough there. 3 people kind of go down, given the fact that NC Virtual were on a little bit more of a budget buy. Should be able to buy up fully into this next one. We're actually seeing Lanoob go for just that Spectre, but Roxborough, it's not looking fantastic. This is going to be the most even round that we've seen in this half, as expected of round number 4. As NC Virtual, I mean, if they wanted to play mind games, I think that there's a little bit of room to do so, because Roxborough are kind of getting fooled time and time again, but Brayden starts it out. An excellent pick against Zumi as Ice Bear trades that one back.
That is clean as you like with the opening on that one. Now, the problem from here is Roxborough with the opening, or the lack thereof in this case, does have to recover a lot more with better weaponry. Yet Ice Bear wins a second for NC Virtual, and this 4 versus 3 should be comfortable. Do they know Brayden's here? That Sova Dart misses. They may have a false sense of security, thinking the site is clear, and they do. Brayden finds 1, immediately gets refragged, and it comes down to just 1, a 1 versus 3 for Moondog. Spike is down, but only for an extra couple seconds, and this is going to be a difficult retake for the Killjoy.
Yeah, a 1v3 scenario. Thankfully, that jet is extremely low. Just need 1 bullet to do, but you see these stacks happening on the site. Moondog and Hog has to play this one so carefully, and it's so hard.
So 2 sitting towards Generator, 1 in Hell. Nanoswarm shot, at least there's something for you. The Null Command, however, guaranteeing your position, and NC Virtual not seeing the door shot out. It was fairly easy for all 3 players to watch 1 spot. They do so. Round goes their way. It is 3 of the 4 for NC Virtual to start off this half, and 4 of 5 in the last couple.
And now moving into this next one, I want to highlight Ice Bear on that jet pick specifically, because I think that Ice Bear has been doing a really good job at playing that entry, playing that just kind of frag potential and securing some of those rounds. Obviously, when you got your duelist, you wanted them to go in and take a lot of space, which Yoru doesn't quite lend itself to well, but Ice Bear has been starting to turn things up in this half and finding those instrumental kills to make sure that Roxborough don't even have a chance to do their retake properly. This jet player has been really instrumental in getting themselves onto the site here. An early flash right off the bat, and oh, they fell for the decoy.
And a fairly easy flash when it's shot for you, or given over for you. Do they clear the corner? There's a KO sitting in a corner. We've seen this before. Last time it favored NC Virtual. Does it favor the Roxborough side this time? Great usage of the Tailwind tech. However, it doesn't find all that much info. And Ice Bear's just going to sit up here. This is a very susceptible position to go down to. Should Silverchan, I don't know, look up as they swing it. The other problem is NC Virtual is taking so much time in mid. They haven't made many strides on either site.
Here.
It's very patient, but oh, the smokes go down almost immediately at the same time, and that might actually be enough information. Ice Bear flirting with disaster, but now the entry happens.
So they use From the Shadows to get into Boathouse. Alarm bot goes off, but it doesn't find all that much. Only a Sova, who isn't getting shot at. Ice Bear goes down, yes,
Spike
but a
planted.
3v4. Killjoy sitting on the market steps. Do they clear their corners? Have we seen Roxborough learn their lesson? It's all to do in the final couple seconds of this doorway swing. They will trade out weaponry, play for HP. Does Brayden clear it? He seems to be aware of the possibility. Wants a flash, maybe wants a kill. We'll find that. No command off the back of it. Finds Azumi. It's 3 for Brayden, on for the ace should their team give them the opportunity, but they finally get shut down by Saturn. And those rings turning into 2. Looking for a third. With the KO down, won't be able to find it. Core will be stabilized. Spike should be able to be diffused. I say? Yeah, they've got it.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't
should
think they'll
be
be able to
fine.
pick up the KO.
No, unfortunately, that's going to go down. I mean, obviously, when you were looking at the difference there,
Yeah.
you got to prioritize the spike over the KO. Sorry, bud. You could tell. He was like, oh, yeah, they should go for the rest. No, there's simply not enough time. And that is the right choice to make at that point. Brayden, once again, doing an excellent job, as we've highlighted so much in this map, of just moving in there and, being able to find those kills, the awareness, like you were talking about, just around the corner, just to do a couple of safety sprays, make sure that it gets cleared out, put your best foot forwards, and just like that, Roxborough are right back into things. We are seeing the timeout now be taken by Roxborough. They just won a pretty important round. They want to make sure that they can secure it moving forwards, because if they lose one more round, their economy is going to be back into the dumpster, whereas NC Virtual have a little bit more room to play and actually have a lot more ultimates to play with. I expect in this round, NC Virtual, they got to use those ultimates. You want to make sure that you set yourself up for the biggest win condition ever. That way, Roxborough won't even have a chance to get themselves right back into it. You can more or less secure 2 rounds by putting Roxborough on such a weapon disadvantage if you use your ultimates now to secure this next round.
So, the other question, from the weapon advantage for Roxborough, I wouldn't be surprised if NC Virtual throw everything at this round. Not only just a couple ultimates, sometimes you'll see teams try to rotate them a little bit better. We saw Azumi use From the Shadows in the previous round to guarantee site control. But here, if you combine a really good lockdown with a good null command, you can knock out the round immediately, because that is so much of a radius taken in very quick fashion. There it is. I love being right. It's so much fun. Null command and a lockdown. Absolutely nothing Roxborough can do here. B-site is gone.
I mean, you say that, but at the same time, I wish they kind of held on to the lockdown just for a little bit longer, because I think that could be an excellent tool to be able to stall out the retake that is coming in right now. Special Drift going to be used to scout things out there, at least aware that Azumi is on this angle. Illinois going to be coming in, and now Roxborough start to make their way onto the site.
Did they steal the Killjoy, though? That's the question. There goes the Yoru. The clone, however, is not shot, so no direct information. They don't know how many players are there, and this is still an extra position they have to worry about as they start to take the site. It's 3 and 2 players split. Brayden hits the first, a second as well. What insane shot is that from Brayden? He finds all 3. There's absolutely nothing the 2 players in B-main can do. I don't care how good your aim is. Not only are you not taking out the 3 players sitting near the button, but Brayden seemingly is his own gauntlet alone. It's 9-9 as Roxborough tie us up. What is that?
You see what I mean when I said it might have been nice to hold on to that lockdown just a little bit longer?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is, too, like, that flood happened so quickly. So there wasn't even really an opportunity for NC Virtual to play that stall game out, to run down the clock, because it was just so fast. And the fact that the Dimensional Drift is online, I mean, Brayden was able to scout things out. Roxborough move in so swiftly, and it was just over. Brayden was able to find those kills more or less for free. The team was back there just in case things went wrong. Now, going to be seeing that Blade Storm activated. NC Virtual not on the best buy possible, but at least they do have that Hunter's Fury. Could use it a little bit more proactively, or could use it if they just wanted to cancel out Roxborough's lockdown. But Roxborough have been playing a very static defense, very similar things to what we've been seeing. And so if you are NC Virtual, you are expecting to see Brayden as well as a KO hanging out close by. And right now the job should be, let's flush out that fragment first.
Brayden's head has been seen. Blades, however, cannot go through walls as easily as bullets can. So, one is consequential, the other not so much. Recon Bolt finds info, but you can't do much of that info if you don't have the way to take the space itself. Not a whole lot of flashes for this NC Virtual side. This is what I was talking about earlier on. They are going to have more difficulties taking a site, assuming they don't have ultimates. But as soon as they do, they are pretty decent at locking them down.
Ooh. Pivot. With that knife as well, they know that there's at least 2 people walking up mid. As well as hearing that updraft. Information should be given away.
30 seconds
Use a
left.
0 point of their own to scout things out. Doesn't catch anything. So NC Virtual just no information given to them just quite yet. Ooh.
Got him.
Oh, there's the blades. There's the head of Ballin. Looking for a second, maybe through the window, but they have to avoid the fragment and completely take the site itself. I love this play with the Cloud Burst, but Brayden's aware of it. He's brainier, it
10 seconds
seems.
left.
Finds 2 more on top of that
Last
with
player
Billy Boy to
standing.
help. That's the round. I don't even care if you get the spike down. There's a lockdown. There's a Brayden. Everything is going to sort itself out eventually. And
Yeah.
lockdown didn't even have to play a pivotal part. Roxborough take double digits first. That's a great retake from them.
Oh, it honestly not even just a great retake from them, a great just understanding of shutting that down. I mean, didn't even give room for NC Virtual to find anything. Sure, that first pick with the Bladestorm was pretty phenomenal. I mean, obviously it's always nice when you get to see a jet pop off like that, but immediately they pounce on them, make sure that they take out so many players and then have that lockdown available just as an insurance method. It was very clean coming in from Roxborough, an excellent just understanding of what NC Virtual might be running. At this point, if you are NC Virtual, things are getting a little bit tougher. The economy, once again, will support enough to be able to buy up rifles, but that last round was a bit of an expensive one. The ultimate's not quite back there yet, and so they're going to have to be cautious here. They are walking right into Brayden, which, you don't really want to do that.
No, I've seen many better decisions in my high school esports career. Walking into the top fragger on a consistent basis probably does not rank up there with the best. Alt Orb going to be picked up eventually. Ice Bear gets disconnected, so the top fragger or close to it for NC Virtual is not going to play a further part in this round unless they somehow return in the middle of it. Listening goes down as well. There goes a heck of a lot of post-plant utility. This is now an official problem for NC Virtual if Brayden's existence alone wasn't already.
Yeah, on top of that too, we're seeing those flashes kind of get tossed out.
Oh
but
my gosh.
they're doing nothing because it's just a little bit of utility that's coming out from Roxborough that's making sure that they can't even enter in or play off of those flashes. So they kind of get wasted here. And Zumi at least able to give Brayden a haircut. It's 2v4 here. 2 ultimates online, but it's still looking very dire as, okay, the call's going to be made. They're going to plant on to be with the Omen ults.
They're gonna get there quickly because of From the Shadows, but does Moondog walk through this? No. Showing your face there, ironically, is a
30
bad
seconds
thing.
left.
And a fake
Last
TP
player
from Izumi.
standing.
They're
Oh.
playing a game of bluff with themselves. The problem is, whoever they think they're in the hand with is absolutely at a different table. And Izumi is now taking time away. This has now been 18 seconds and counting. And all 4 players are here for Roxborough. 1 kill is found. That's all they'll see. Roxborough fight 11, and you just have to feel bad for the lack of a post plan.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like you said, it was just kind of their own brain games going on against themselves there. As it was so hard to try and get that plant down, and understandably so. You just spotted someone out, and Roxborough, I mean, excellently played by Moondog and Hog. Let's take our time. Hey, got 4 people alive. I'm gonna wait for them to come. They can put that spike down. That's okay. Get the ultimate point. That's cool. Because it doesn't matter. We're going to be able to overpower you. We have the flashes available, and we're seeing it. Brayden now 1 away from getting 30 kills in this lobby. And 3 ultimates online for Roxborough at this point. Of course, the Thrash could be pretty good, given the fact that, yeah, it goes in, it stuns someone up for a little while, but also, too, you can pick that one back up, so it's an excellent scouting tool, especially to try and negate someone from planting if you go down to the wire on some of those situations. But the Dimensional Drift, honestly, from Brayden, has been getting quite a bit of value as well. It's scouting out some of these positions, and I love it when it's being used on those post-plant scenarios to, like, okay, let's find out exactly where they're standing, and then they just kind of lead the charge with the rest of the team in tow, walk in there, and call it a day. 2 rounds for Roxborough before they win this one out, Dan.
I'm going to say I think Roxborough, barring either a miracle or a great Hunter's Fury from Lanoob, this is going to be a problem for NC Virtual. They have played objectively as a team a much better game than Roxborough. However, Brayden alone is much better individually than some of the team step-ups. I say that as Brayden dies. So an immediate caster's curse. I think that's a record right there.
Yeah, honestly, that's your fault. I've got nothing else to say there.
Yep.
You jinxed it.
All you're saying is if Roxborough loses this game, they know who to blame.
Yes, exactly. You know who to point the finger at. But a little bit of a glancing of exchanges happening close to tree. Icebear actually decided to back out here, taking a lot of space. Gonna be going in, no tailwind available. It actually just decides to back out. So once again, there is an opportunity here. Billy Boy is able to drop the spike. Good information. Billy Boy gets a second.
This is scary. Even with that loss early, problems still certainly developing. Good 0 point. I think I found all 3 players as well. So all the information they need. A 1-for-1 train in mid with Ice Bear. Lanoob's on a Hunter's Fury, yes, but they don't have all that many targets, nor the easy information to find. Recon Bolt is available, and Wingman is thrown into mid, no less, so the information again is there for Roxborough, but how is the timing going to go their way? Shock Dart will go a decent direction, but Billy Boy finds their 3rd on the round. Roxborough find match point here on Ascent.
Yeah, you can tell, I mean, when NC Virtual were trying to move their way into tree, they were like, okay, we don't think anyone's there because we shut Brayden down. We're pretty sure Billy Boy's going to be somewhere on the site because that's usually where that KO is, but not the case. Actually, Billy Boy, fantastic just positioning, just holds it down for the team, denies the entry, slams the door on NC Virtual's face. As a result of that, I mean, NC Virtual were scrambling, and that's when we saw the rest of Roxborough move in through mid, clearing up the members who felt more or less trapped, unsure of what to do. And now, match point, a slew of ultimates right now for Roxborough. I'm Saturn has just disconnected as well, making this even more difficult for NC Virtual to try and figure out. But they got to make this one happen and potentially start to climb their way back up to overtime if they want it to work.
I think I'm Saturn right now is the literal definition of the lights are on, but nobody's home. And being disconnected. You're holding B main, but the rest of your team's in B main. They are not in the lobby, people, so they are looking the wrong direction for a good reason. Dimensional Drift is used, and I'm Saturn's disconnection will be put in all chat. So Roxborough knows it. This Dimensional Drift in the back, Ryan, though, this is perfect. You throw the Thrash alongside the Dimensional Drift being exposed. Yes, Brayden has been seen, but I'm Saturn just reconnected. Better timing has never been found for NC Virtual.
Ooh, excellent flash there. Look at this, Roxborough have completely boxed them in. Speaking of feeling trapped, NC Virtual right now has to be so vigilant of every single angle because they're getting just collapsed upon.
There's 2 players tiles, 1 sitting in T spawn, and 2 more on the B site. The turret has seen Billy Boy, and yeah, you have 1 player sitting the backside of the house through B main, and Azumi finding 1, aware of the 2nd, and seemingly knows where the 3rd is, but the timing, that could end up being their undoing. Billy Boy being seen, however, that's Azumi's information. That may be all they need, but they have to get onto the site. They have to walk through nanoswarms and the alarm bot. That could end up being the Achilles heel that ends this game. Moondog finds 1. Will they find a 2nd? Yes, they will, and the time will very much be the undoing of NC Virtual. It was in the first half. That notion will continue to close out the 2nd. Roxborough win Ascent 13-9.
And that is so hard just because of a couple of unfortunate internet issues resulting in NC Virtual to just have the clock shut down on them. But that's not to take away from them because once again, NC Virtual, I thought they were doing a fantastic job when they were playing those retakes, which showed that they had decent chops when it came to an understanding of how to go about things. And even when they were entering, it looked like they had so many pieces in place, especially too with how that utility was going down. They had active game plans, but unfortunately Roxborough, I mean, Brayden ran away with it, but I do think that the rest of Roxborough as well were doing an excellent job at just stalling it out or applying pressure to force NC Virtual into such uncomfortable positions.
And look at the scoreboard. I feel like this is a very good way of addressing how this game went. Well, yes, Brayden individually did pop off and nearly dropped a 30 bomb, even in the rounds where Brayden did not find notable kills, including the last 2, or where Brayden died early. The rest of the team was still very much stepping up. Billy Boy, Sover, and Moondog, those last, I'd say 5-6 rounds, apart from maybe 1 or 2, they were basically the team on their own. Brayden was very close to the 30 bomb for, I think, 5 rounds. Just could not find it. But sometimes you don't need the 30 bomb. A 357 ACS in a 13-9 win. 5 opening kills as a Yoru. I think that speaks for itself. And the fact that Brayden was sitting on a flank for almost a minute in that last round really speaks to the trust that the Yoru has in the rest of their team.
Yeah, and on top of that too, I mean, obviously with how they were playing stylistically, it just felt like that Yoru was very well supported. I mean, Brandon was doing a great job of getting that information. Okay, now we know that these people are around here, and then you would see the utility kind of fly in while the rest of the team would lead the charge. This is a team that likes to play together, and it was so evident in their game plan style about how they wanted to move in onto the sites, how they wanted to retake the sites, how they even defended the sites, honestly. It was like, oh, they're moving in. Let's just back off and wait until all 5 of us are ready to go again, and then we can just move in together. So you can tell that a lot of those, simple elements were very much at the heart of Roxborough, and it's just the teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, it's our first game done, and honestly, a very nice game to see. We saw teamwork on one side, we saw individualistic play on the other, but the teamwork was really prevalent in the final few rounds. It's NC Virtual Academy up again, however, this time against a new opponent. They'll take on Research Triangle High School on a new map with one more site. I'll give you a hint, it's not Haven, that's not in the pool. We'll find out when we come back. One game down, still one very much on the way, and NC Virtual Academy looking for a redemption arc against Research Triangle in our second map of the day. I'm time to light that right there is Marks. Welcome along to VESL. It is the Northeast region, and it is our second game of the day. Marks, I gotta say, I'm excited to see what I'll expose is Lotus as our second map.
Yeah, we're going to Lotus for our second series of the day. Like you said, NC Virtual Academy, this time going up against Research Triangle High School. So kind of curious to see how this one is going to be playing things out. If you take a look at the history of NC Virtual Academy, they tend to stick to a little bit more of like meta style picks and stuff like that. So I'm expecting to see something a little bit more similar from their composition. But the question right now is what Research Triangle High School is going to go for, because it feels like Lotus, while there is a quote-unquote meta, there's still a lot of room for a couple of different changes that can kind of go on that make the map kind of really fun.
So we can really see any agent going into this game. The only one I'd really be surprised about is Fade, to be completely honest with you. Maybe a couple of controllers here and there. I'd be very surprised if we saw an Astra as well. But other than that, most of the other agents in the game are very much reasonable. The one thing I will say is throw all common sense out the window, because Research Triangle does not play in the Triangle region, which completely threw me off when I figured out who was playing today. By the way, speaking of the Triangle region, there is the Triangle region stream on right now. If you're on the YouTube, which is the only way you could watch this right now, go to the live tab and start scrolling, because we have 9 separate regions. We've got Triangle, Southeast Metro, Wake, CMS, Western, Foothills, Guilford, and Sandhills. We are the Northeast stream. That I'm not going to bring up, because if you're watching this, then that feels very redundant. But we've got 9 streams going right now. If you're not seeing the team you want to see right now, you've got 8 others to choose from.
Yeah, honestly, that's another cool thing about this. Because there's so much kind of happening, you're guaranteed to at least be able to see one team or another, and especially too if you're following some of these storylines, this is a great way to kind of keep up with everything that's been going on, because since this is also YouTube, hey, that's just going to be backlogged, so you can take a look at the VODs afterwards too if you've got multiple teams that you're interested in kind of watching.
Yep, well, these teams will focus in on, it is NC Virtual Academy back on the cards. It's Research Triangle High School as well. Now, I believe this is NC Virtual Academy, not NC Virtual, so they have a second team below them. So it's like a second opportunity, but for the second team. I'll get clarification on that. Probably.
No, I'm pretty sure this is the NC Virtual Academy.
The sides are just swatched. Yeah, the sides are just swapped.
Yes.
Ice Bear is NC Virtual Academy. Research Triangle's on the left side of your screen. That should be fixed when we get in the game, but the overlay for some reason swaps from the lobby to the game, and nobody understands why.
Yeah, love that, but you know, it is kind of what it is, and right off the bat, we're seeing them go for a little bit more of that stock standard composition. The only thing kind of fun is Azumi might be going in on the Clove instead of having that Omen, but otherwise everything seems to be more or less in order. Research Triangle High School, though, they're going in for the Breach this time, and quite frankly, Breach, pretty good in my opinion on Lotus specifically. There's a lot of single lanes, especially too for a lot of the gunfights that can happen just outside of A, just outside of C. You know, that fault line can get you so much value. But the question does come down then, well, it kind of takes away from that initiation. A lot more people going for the Gecko pick, because you can pick up the Dizzy so much easier. As opposed to those flashes, once you use them, they're kind of done. So I'm kind of curious to see how this composition is going to go up against each other. But regardless, I'm still kind of a fan of Breach on this.
I also have to question why lanoob.com is not an actual website. I checked when we were on the agent selection. There's not. I'm mostly just a side piece, but you have to note double controller with the Clove being run here. I've only seen Clove run one other time thus far. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. Back here on VESL, just it was in the Triangle region. So I'm actually really excited to see how Clove is being used on a different map, because last time I think it was Ascent. It was probably Ascent. It is high school students trying to pick maps, so it's most likely Ascent. High schoolers pick Ascent. College students pick Ascent.
Or Lotus.
T3 players pick Ascent. Everybody picks Ascent.
Yeah, I mean,
here's Lotus. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, once again, speaking about the Clove quickly, just to dive into what that might add to the composition, given the fact that you can place those smokes post-mortem, really does allow for just a little bit more flexibility, allows a little bit more frontal pressure, because you could have that Clove kind of run in with the main squad. And if they go down, they still will be able to smoke. And usually you see like the Omen tuck away, play a little bit farther back and all of that type of stuff, but not necessarily going to be the case if you've got that Clove kind of being in front of everything. So with that already, actually seeing the attackers, which are NC Virtual Academy, hanging outside a C, and a little bit of utility being tossed out to kind of keep them at bay.
So, something to note really quick. The overlay is wrong. I will bring this up a couple more times. NC Virtual Academy is on the attack. Research Triangle High School is on the defense. We will hopefully get that fixed in just a couple minutes. Shout out our producer on that one. This is a pre-recorded game. I'll expose that. So this one was pre-recorded before this game. But NC Virtual Academy, on this attacking side, basically wants to focus on mid. We see the Clove take a one-on-one over towards the C side, but Jack finds a shot, I think through the smoke. Yeah, through the smoke on the Saturn, who will want that life back. Azumi, however, walking through the C side, really throwing off the rotations of Research Triangle.
Yeah, and it just feels like a little bit of indecision kind of going on right now for NC Virtual Academy. They finally make their way onto that C site. Spike is going to be going down. Aftershock tossed in as well, but not enough damage to actually... I don't think it goes far enough, so no. Spike down. Oh, Bonsai went first.
Bonsai takes out Lanoob as that was being thrown, and it's now down to Azumi, at least on the site. They do the Viper through that smoke, but Azumi wants to look for an ace of their own. Bonsai will shut that down. Walking through the snake fight, though, is not the best idea, and Listening takes full advantage of that sectioning tool. Flash through, cannot see a thing, however. Listening saw the sun, and they'll see the bottom of a grave. It is Null to find the shot, and it's Research Triangle's defense to start off well on the pistol.
Yeah, that was a very scrappy pistol round as well. Virtual Academy, NC Virtual Academy having a little bit of difficulty making their way onto that B site because Research Triangle were already just ready to defend it. But then as a result, it completely left the back door open for that C site. So NC Virtual Academy very easily able to move in there. The Research Triangle had to scrounge themselves together and try to deny the plant using a lot of utility, not finding that much. It just came down to one-on-one initiation against these agents. And we do get to see Research Triangle High School on the defense come out on top of that first round. They're going to be buying up into this next one. Of course, that's going to be a very nice advantage, as we do see NC Virtual Academy just kind of slow things down, and a lot of utility immediately kind of gets forced out, potentially making it easier for the attackers to be able to move in on one of these sites.
This rotation as well, you're playing 3 people B, but this can very easily become 3 or even 4 towards A, depending on the timing. The raise is yet to be seen. Bonsai's very comfortable on this vertical position. Dizzy misses, so they may have that false sense of security again. But NC Virtual Academy's going elsewhere. They don't even walk out the lobby. That is a very quick decision.
The fact, too, that they're holding forward so much kind of forces the hand of NC Virtual Academy to rotate somewhere else, and defenders are aware of it. They make their way over. The smoke's coming down preemptively, so it's looking like a B-side hit. As soon as this Viper wall goes down, the initiation should happen.
Wall's up, but that snake bite, oh, that's going to be difficult to get through. Combine that with Jack already finding the opening, and it's again NC Virtual Academy having to figure out something else to do. Seems like C will be the final gauntlet, but Rich Star opened the door before they even got the opportunity to walk onto C, and the Killjoy's been seen. Listening to has been seen as well, but the door gets slowed down. What in the world just happened? Rich Star just got an extra few seconds to walk through. I've never seen that before. The door just stopped spinning. What?
No, it always slows down because they like patched it recently so that the door takes a little bit more time to do one full rotation. So you see it kind of slow down more on the middle part of it now. So that's normal. That's normal. But yeah, I mean, once again, it's just Research Triangle High School doing such a good job of controlling the space, controlling the map presence. And NC Virtual Academy, they're playing exactly into the traps that are going on there. So much pressure right off the bat, outside of middle. And then as a result of that, it's NC Virtual Academy with feeling like they have to go B, immediately get shut down with a bit of utility, force it over to C, and while they're struggling, then Research Triangle High School just move in and find those kills. This time, though, a little bit more spread, a little bit more proactive with rifles in their hands. NC Virtual Academy spread out throughout the map, but they need to find something before they move in onto any of these sites.
Shout out a producer, by the way. Overlay's fixed.
We got it.
Yeah. Very, very much appreciated. Research Triangle, now definitively noted at the top of the screen with the opening 2 rounds. And this third round, I'm going to say it should be fairly comfortable for them, considering the fact that they had the back-to-back. and they had a couple players stay alive at the end of things. Yeah, it won't be the best round, but as far as bonuses go, this one looks pretty decent.
Nice and slow right now. A bit of misdirection going on here. The utility gets used, and so it's going to be Research Triangle High School starting to make their way around, but actually it might have made things a little bit worse because it flushed more players out from C, trying to rotate through B onto A, but Izumi starts it out. Bonsai goes down. Now a real opportunity to move in onto this A site.
That could be very quickly popped, though. They throw in the smoke, and Izumi just doesn't clear the close side. Clove dispatched of, and because they over-dedicate themselves to this, with this moment already being here, this could be dedicated fairly quickly. Wingman tries to go for it, will not get the spike down, so instead, it's the Killjoy that has to lock that one in, but Richstar down before they can even play an influencing role. Null goes for at least something to note, but a reswing from Griffin, they didn't make a sound cue on dropping, and that's the anonymity you need. Perfect play from the Killjoy, combination with the breach, the utility not even required. Research Triangle win the bonus and keep 2 more rifles over. The economy is booming.
Yeah, Research, I mean, okay, in this matchup right now, we're seeing 2 very different styles of Valorant being played. NC Virtual Academy trying to play it as safe as possible. Make sure that they're doing everything by the book. But then we'd see Research Triangle High School, on the other hand, play with extreme confidence that they're just going to be able to move in there and win their gunfights. And quite frankly, as Research Triangle High School continue to frag out like this, their confidence is only getting higher and being rewarded for it. And now NC Virtual Academy find themselves in such an awkward position here. We're seeing them buy up as much as they can, but right off the bat, it's an operator wallbang shot that shuts down Izumi. And with that long sight line onto A, they can move resources away from A because they know that they've got those sight lines and appropriately are adjusting to compensate in B.
So notably enough, Izumi had Not Dead Yet and decided not to use it. You could have made it a 5v5. The only problem would have been trying to find the fight quickly enough for that intangibility to become a persistent thing. So I suppose good decision to not use it, especially in what is a very early round. Not the greatest of buys. Good judicious usage. Even better, judicious Marshall finds one, but Reswing somehow doesn't die immediately, and Wingman goes hunting, but a Kobe'd paint shell kills Saturn. This is a perfect round for Research Triangle, and then Griffin dies?
Yeah, I mean, you say a perfect round. Not quite just quite yet. The spike will be able to go down for NC Virtual Academy. Bonsai trying to flush it out. Satchel doesn't quite make it there. Good paranoia, though, at least gets Lanoob. But this is opportunity here for NC Virtual Academy to get around.
HL, oh, it's the jump up with the blast pack instead. However, that rocket just does not land on time, and Jack misses their shots, just gets swung on. The classic, very ineffective. It's a free gun for a reason. If this is the round they win, color me surprised. Lanoob seemingly will get taken care of, but around that far corner, didn't clear the immediate side, and re-swing successfully. What a round from NC Virtual Academy. Lose the opening pick, lesser weaponry, late spike plant off of a completely chaotic fight, and yet still, a round win with 2 players alive.
And this is the price of confidence sometimes. You can tell Research Triangle High School, like I said in the previous round, you know, oh, we can just move in there. We can just win the gunfight. It'll be easy. They went in with that same attitude, except they didn't win the gunfight. And suddenly it looks a lot worse when you don't win out your gunfights there. But of course, losing that operator, I think, is the largest boon out of the last round. It's going to make this buy on this round so strange for Research Triangle High School. They didn't opt to go for that bonus. They decided to buy up yet again, and now they're kind of getting punished for it. We do see NC Virtual Academy go for that BC split a little bit more commonly, but with the information given, I imagine Research Triangle High School should have an idea of what is necessarily going on as soon as that Viper Wall goes down.
Fault line again being prepped here. We've seen this a couple times. It goes all the way through most of B main and the front side of the mound on C. I love the lineup for it, mainly because it's always so effective and can be played off of information from either site and is still effective from both of those positions. The other note is NC Virtual Academy seemingly have found out that it's being used on a consistent basis. So a much slower approach to both sites, but because of the door, they have the availability to get to either one.
You raise an excellent point there, because since they are aware, the operator shot flying through, oh, the fault line going over there, they're doing a better job at just taking their time with it. You know, hey, let's just play it a little bit slower. Don't make any mistakes here. And now the engagement going to be happening. The fault line's still going to be good though. And now they're just walking through utility.
Unfortunately, they're having to walk through so much. Double blast pack, great vertical pressure here for the Rays. Nanoswarm from distance that will not be available late in this round, but a spike plant is almost a guarantee. It comes down to whether this can be lined up. Watch for the paint shells. It's thrown directly at Lanoob, who will almost certainly die to them. Yes, they will. But a spike plant goes down before that. And remember, we still have the availability of Clove's ultimate ability. That usage of Not Dead Yet could be the deciding factor should they go down. That requires the Clove to die immediately, and I'm Saturn alongside the Clove will combine for Fide. It's a full house of frags, a full house of a scoreline at the top of the screen, and NC Virtual Academy are back to within 1.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you know, that ultimate requires you to die first, but doesn't quite work out when you kill all of the enemy team instead. So no need for that ultimate in hand. Actually, I was going to say the biggest issue that I saw on that round was the fact that Lanoob is going to be the first one going down. With that lockdown in hand, could have been an excellent tool to stall it out, but not needed. Sometimes you just frag out, and sometimes you're just able to win it. So NC Virtual Academy, they've got their hands back on the wheel. They're ready to drive now, and it's looking a lot more comfortable there as we see early aggression come out from Research Triangle High School onto A. They've usually held back, but this time it's going to be a little bit of a brawl.
So, with NC Virtual Academy now having a little bit more flexibility about them, Izumi dying immediately, there's no way you can pop that immediately.
No.
You just have 3 players around you, understandable decision to not. But this is an odd position now for NC Virtual Academy. You've lost almost all of the A site. I'm surprised they don't just bum rush B because they saw 3 players on the A side. I thought they were going to go for it immediately.
I think it was just that conditioning that's been going on. They didn't necessarily know how many people were going to be around there, and so they were worried that if they tried to make a move into B, they'd just get caught into yet another utility trap. And I think that that is an excellent thing that Research Triangle High School have done. Showstopper online, here we go.
Showstopper double blast pack. They see the Killjoy, but a very late pop of it. The Killjoy will live, maybe not through the paint shell though. Walking through Nanoswarm's not the greatest idea if you want to keep your health up. Listening to dies through a wall, and that was a spray from the far side of B main through the rotating doors. A jump up from distance, Ice Bear is seen, quickly dispatched of, and now I'm Saturn needs to ace clutch in a 1v3. I don't know if they have wingman. They do. Spike is in their control, but a headshot through a wall. What is the timing? I'm Saturn needs to be wondering the exact same thing. There's just no way to lock that one in. Probably could have used the wingman in all fairness, but it is what it is. Bonsai finds the kill. Research Triangle go up 14.
Yeah, and on top of that too, I mean, wow, I can't believe that we didn't get to see that Showstopper actually find a kill there. I thought for sure, and somehow we get to see Griffin Dragon escape, and that just makes it so much more difficult to secure the site. You could tell that the intention was there for NC Virtual Academy. Oh, if we can take out that Killjoy, we can spread out a little bit more, take a little bit more room. But because that Killjoy survived, they were all hesitant to do so. And as a result, Research Triangle High School, so easy for them to just move in there and kind of retake with their utility. It's unfortunate, but that little dodge, weave, and duck was perfect from the Killjoy on Research Triangle High School.
Night fell off. That's a great coach name for the Research Triangle coach. That's a new one. So 4-2. Research Triangle have really tried to focus down that Clove in early rounds. The A side has really been their point of emphasis. Maybe like first 15-20 seconds. After that, they probably couldn't care less after the first couple rounds. NC Virtual Academy have not had that recoverability with player disadvantages. That's the one part of this game I'm really concerned about, is they don't have as much early round utility to throw out on the defensive side when they swap. And combine that with the fact that they are just losing opening pick after opening pick, and Izumi is becoming the opening pick on very many occasions while still top fragging. I'd say Research Triangle are really owning the early game. Late game, it's becoming a little bit closer, but not enough considering how dominant the early game is. And now we have a classic rush because, of course.
Oh no! And it's all foiled by just the Viper wall. As soon as they hear the Dizzy, oh, the wall goes up. No information given up whatsoever. And those sprays become even more dangerous. At least Dizzy gets recovered. Look at this already. So characteristic of Triangle. They're already moving out of A. And so if we do see Virtual Academy back off of here, they've given up so much room, this is going to be dangerous.
They just completely back away. 2 ships in the night. they don't get seen from A main. There's no way not a single player was just seen from A main. Every single one passed as if they were never there in the first place. And a walk on to C could be good. The problem is they have to get there quickly, because remember, the A main pressure is now rotating, and quickly so. Not a soul has been heard in B main, and now that rotation going back the other way, the Omen hears a small stampede of attackers walking their direction. Jack finds 2, make it looking for 3. Good stun. Even better paranoia. Dizzy should be effective, but it's just delaying the inevitable at this point. Everybody's being swarmed. Nobody will be spared. No more prisoners. Everybody goes down.
All I gotta say is right now, those fault lines are making such a huge impact on this game.
Yeah.
Every single time we see NC Virtual Academy, like, all right, here's our time. We're ready to do it. Boom, everyone's stunned up, and it's like, what the heck? And that's something that breach is really bringing to the table. I think there's excellent communication right now going on from Research Triangle High School to coordinate all of those fault lines so excellently. It feels like every single round before they enter, they're immediately getting stunned up. It is unbelievable how much value Noel has been generating for the team.
I'd say just rush it. Fault line or not, just rush it. Thrash is going to be used here to try and get through that toxic screen. Great usage of it. The problem is, fault line is going to be put through, and the delay has cost them so much. Walking back through a snake fight, so much HP gone. And the time is just costing them so much at the end of the day. NC Virtual Academy has to make a decision quickly, or, well, the decision by proxy is going to be made for them.
Now think about how that exchange went. They used a Thrash, a Viper screen went up, a fault line went out, a Viper Molly went out, and that was it. The Thrash is gone. No space taken whatsoever. Just a little bit of utility coming out from Research Triangle High School, and they completely shut the door on NC Virtual Academy. Research Triangle High School are doing an excellent job at playing with their utility. They were fragging at first, but now they're turning it up utility-wise as well. Oh, no.
That's not great. That's certainly not great. Lockdown being used does help things, but all that space isn't going to mean all that much if you don't take more than what is given to you by default. The radius does very little. It just gives over the space. But again, the spike has not been planted yet. With all that space, they do very little considering the time given over for free. A lack of a rotation towards C for the 2 players sitting on the B site does make things concerning. There's a Viper sitting right outside these doors that could be that real lack of a weakness in the armor of this defensive retake. Rolling Thunder only finds 2 in the backside of the site. Those 2 are very much exposed, and Listening only finds those 2. Izumi finally decides to pop the ultimate, but it takes him a little while to do so, and doesn't find the immediate damage they're looking for. That is a time-sensitive ultimate, but they find the kill to make it so, only for Null to refrag, 11 HP, and the entire belt of utility gives Null and subsequently Research Triangle High School the rep.
You know, even though it didn't quite work out as definitively as I was going to expect there, I love what Research Triangle High School did on that last round for the retake. You saw that Rolling Thunder go through and clear up the site. The only escape that they were going to be able to get is if they walked out into Mound, where we saw Jack Ra and Bonsai moving in together. Of course, because Listening was hanging out there on that Viper and is able to get a couple of kills, I mean, that is a fantastic place to play from, but the idea from Research Triangle was so strong. Of course, we do get to see them actually win out the round just by the skin of their teeth there. Had to use quite a few ultimates as well, but still, it works out for them, and now we get to see this next round. Already the fault line gets tossed out, and it's very offensive positioning yet again on this A side.
They're so far forward. They're taking full advantage of it. Great utility throws from NC Virtual Academy. But the problem is they're just dying regardless of the utility usage. Opening kills again start to go Research Triangle's way. NC Virtual Academy are forced to basically act as if they were the Ferrari F1 pit wall. Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. Too many letters, unfortunately.
And it's just so aggressive, but the thing is too, like, they're playing together. And that's honestly the biggest thing, because they're allowing for these trades to happen, and yeah, it's so decisive. Sure, the Killjoy lockdown gets tossed out, but it feels like these ultimates are just sort of flushing players out of the area right into the crosshairs of the other members of Research Triangle.
This is superb coordination from Research Triangle. You gotta say, that's basically what it is. We see utility usage from distance, from multiple different players on the team, and Gingerbeard is going to call a timeout. Gotta say, probably a good decision. NC Virtual Academy just has not had the opening picks they need. They haven't been getting space in the early round outside of what's given to them by default, which is B main and most of C main. And then even with some of that space, they're taking too long to then follow up on it with either subsequent space taking, kills, or site control. And it's costing them round after round after round. Remember, this was, what, a 3-1, 3-2 game? It's been 4-5 in a row for Research Triangle.
Yeah, and honestly, it just feels like this is Research Triangle High School's like playing ground. The way that they've got themselves set up on defense, like all of the different little strategies that we're seeing, the coordination that's kind of coming through, you can tell that this has been very thoroughly rehearsed. Every single time NC Virtual Academy show a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of an error, a little bit of uncomfortableness, it feels like Research Triangle are always there ready to go right off the bat. So honestly, just excellent job to the Research Triangle High School team for like preparing as much as they have, because this is looking very clean from their squad.
I'm saying this right now, if we don't see an opening kill or something early substantive from NC Virtual Academy, I'm very concerned. Null is in, again, the same spot, but an early fault line, that's a weakness. They've used the fault line, and with very little effect off the back of it. Yeah, they did take further control in A main, but we've seen that in many rounds. But there's a smoke on the front side of C. It was a one-way smoke, and they just didn't do much with it.
Right now, we're seeing a little bit of momentum from NC Virtual Academy. Get that Viper's wall down right off the bat, but they move into it. Things are going to get complicated. The Killjoy and Omen are hanging out there. Viper moving in as well to produce that extra molly support. And unfortunately, it seems like NC Virtual Academy have kind of locked themselves into moving in there, and they just walk right into the spray. As Research Triangle High School, they don't even budge.
Who needs to budge? You've got so much space. It's given to you for free. They then have Crossfire set up to deal with the complete onslaught of NC Virtual Academy, and Bonsai's going to swing at the perfect time here. They have 3 seconds to 1 kill.
Flawless.
Yeah, everything goes Research Triangle's way. A reswing from C main, they had 1 B main, a flawless round, no less. This is a clinic.
Yeah, I mean, once again, that level of hesitation, as soon as the Viper's wall goes down, we see NC Virtual Academy pump the brakes a little bit, slow down, which gives Research Triangle the opportunity to get them players set up, make sure that they've got those crossfires ready to go. Utility is going to be available for them as well, and it's just an easy cleanup for that team. I mean, they didn't even get in through the entrance there and immediately got shut down. Now it's 8-2, only 2 more rounds left in this half. Buy-up is going to be forced here from NC Virtual Academy, but Bonsai starts us off with a pick already.
I think they're going to find more. There was just a fault line thrown all the way from the A link, and they're looking for more. Jack is just walking up because they can. Paranoia is going to find 4 players. There's the showstopper. It finds 1. Damage on a second. The follow-up is very much there. It is absolutely fish in a barrel for Research Triangle, but Null dies to a Nano Swarm. A reswing from B main finds a kill. For Rich Star, he finds 2. There we go. Took a little bit longer than they would have liked, but still nearly as clean for Research Triangle. That's 9 now, with 7 in a row, no less, or 6 too.
Okay, I know I've been calling it the trap all of these last couple of rounds where we're just like, oh yeah, you know, they're trapping NC Virtual Academy into these spaces. It's feeling more like a cage now. And it feels like this cage is moving around the map, but this cage is consistently being set up around them with just a little bit of pressure, whether or not it's from the utility, whether or not it's from a couple of frags that happen. We just see Research Triangle High School put this cage on top of NC Virtual Academy, giving their other players so many opportunities to be able to just shut the door from another side. Now this is going to be a faster hit this time, potentially, as Griffin Dragon is going to make first point contact, but still, once again, NC Virtual Academy, they hesitate.
Going to be used for the first time in this half. Reswing Jack shuts it down, and can walk through this, will do so indeed. Makes it a second for themselves, and a 4 versus 3 for their team. The Viper's still alive, but only barely. Spray through that ever-present smoke, does so much damage, but at the end of the day, still not lethal. Watch for the Raze, though. Walking through B main, has all the space they need, and could catch out the Clove with a Rolling Thunder. They may not even have to. Both players elevated the backside of the site. Bonsai finds all 3 of them. Research Triangle, a 10-2 clinic of Lotus's defense. They are very clear favorites to close things out.
Yeah, I mean, once again, just fantastic utility usage coming in from this team. The fact that the ultimate comes out there, Rolling Thunder gets popped, and immediately Bonsai goes in hunting for kills. They're just like, okay, hey, I've got the ultimate. Let's play off of it. It just seems so well coordinated from Research Triangle. And now that we're swapping them over onto the attack, I'm even more curious how this is going to go, because we got to see the coordination in, like, you know, 2 agents over here, 2 agents over there. But now there's the potential that we get to see the full kit work together. And I don't know, I think that's a really exciting concept.
There. Watching here.
So, what comes of the NC Virtual Academy defense? I'm going to say it, if they don't win the pistol round, I don't think they do much in this game. Pistol round is basically the requirement to close things out. If they don't find that, they are not going to be able to find all that much round 2, and then round 3 we saw was absolutely easy as you please. Sides have pseudo-swapped. I believe they're back to the wrong way. We'll get that fixed in just a second, I believe. So, again, Research Triangle now on the attack. But if NC Virtual Academy doesn't find much to start here, I don't know if they're going to find anything to finish.
Right now, just a little bit of a utility trade coming out across the map. In fact, though, that NC Virtual Academy have all that information on A. Should give something away. I think that they just glanced, at least knowing that one person was there. No early rotations happening, though. This is smart. But Research Triangle High School haven't really committed to anything just quite yet. This is as slow as it comes, Dan.
So much patience, but when does patience just become a lack of play? Saturn finds the opening. That's a great start on the B side. That lurk's shut down. On A, however, Ice Bear is alone, basically in a 1v3 as it stands. They find a first, make it a second, finally shut down, but they do more than enough. That should be the round itself. Izumi follows up, Saturn does the same, NC Virtual Academy win the pistol. The first hurdle in this very long line of a track and field event has at least been jumped by NC Virtual Academy.
Oh, what's the line? Hesitation is death or something like that? Yeah, I mean, at that point, you could tell Research Triangle High School falling into that trap of indecision, not too sure what to do. And at the point where they decide to make a move, like, there's so little time left on the clock that that one kill does so much value for NC Virtual Academy. I mean, obviously, Ice Bear just kind of anchoring things down as Research Triangle High School are kind of scurrying. Makes it so much more difficult. But this time, it's going to be a very decisive move in onto that B site. They've already taken all of that space, and yeah, NC Virtual have no choice but to respect it.
Spike planted.
And there's not guns for NC Virtual. They know they won the pistol, right? I mean, I suppose go for it if you can play with them. Izumi fights 2 with a ghost. What is going on? A lack of a buy, seemingly absolutely nothing they care about. Izumi fights 4. Listening stole the ace, but who cares? They don't buy a gun. I think they only had pistols in the previous round, and yet they nearly win it flawlessly. Research Triangle is going to have absolutely nothing going into this third round, and this isn't even a bonus. This should be a full gun round for NC Virtual Academy.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see what the buy-up is going to be, but it seems like it will be rifles actually coming in for Research Triangle High School this time around. As NC Virtual Academy are going for the bonus. Seems like the script has been a little bit flipped here, but this should actually more or less guarantee then that Research Triangle High School have a real good opportunity. And NC Virtual Academy playing a little bit more on the safer side. I hope that this isn't going to be a mistake for them, because they can't really afford to give up another round at this point. Already, Jack 2 Raw. That they got the foot on the gas pedal. It's very fast movements coming in onto this A site.
This could not be a better position for them to be in. Opening kill. There's only the Gecko on the site itself. Yes, Izumi is walking through mid, but a toxic screen and what was the smoke makes things difficult to retake. Double blast back to the back. Saturn's isolated and dies immediately. Yes, there's a refrag, but listening to didn't buy a primary weapon again. Jack doesn't know they're being flanked, but turns around and has the weapon advantage, so that's a completely different factor. And a 3v4 retake, this one's a problem.
Yeah, problem's an easy way to say that. Listening spots it out. Rich Star falling extremely low, but still stays alive. And look at that. Jack 2 Raw on the flank at least takes one out. And NC Virtual Academy, it slips through their fingers yet again. At least able to get that first kill.
Oh. There's 2 players sitting inside a tree. This is a completely different conversation now. Both of them are isolated. Flash around the corner, though. Izumi can't see anything and will be taken care of as well. Null finds 2. Research Triangle go on to 11. I will say it again, however. NC Virtual Academy know they won the previous round, right? Finally, they're gonna buy. it just took them 2 more rounds than I thought it would.
Yeah, I agree. But, at least this time around, they will be able to buy up fully. Technically have a little bit of an advantage over Research Triangle. And the fact that Bonsai only has that light shields and Rich Star is going to be walking in with a Bulldog. Still, things are not looking good. Jack 2 Raw doing an excellent job. Was always playing with Bonsai on that defense, but was fragging out on their own just as much. And now it's going to be the Seaside pressure. Should have an excellent time taking this space. NC Virtual Academy push 3 out of A, but decided to double back, and yeah, it might be a little bit too late. This is a very decisive push coming in from Research Triangle.
Again, they've been very good with the decision making. And Shrouded step across. They've got full C-site control. There should be a fairly quick spike plan as well. Notably and importantly, Izumi has not dead yet. So, should they die, they won't be, assuming, of course, they pop it. But Research Triangle, a full 5v5 retake for NC Virtual Academy. 2 players looking to go through that Seaside door rotation, and Dizzy to assist. But the problem is they're not being shown anybody. Everybody playing their own individualized angle, and it works in perfect fashion. This flank now fairly inconsequential. An even better decision to pop the dark cover in that position as well. And that should be the round. There's not much if you're NC Virtual Academy you can do here. A Poison Cloud just to initiate, that's how you know things are really dire. And Izumi will pop, not dead yet. The problem is, they don't know the opposite position they're being swung from. Griffin Dragon, they held their position for so long, they weren't detected from the start nor from the finish. Research Triangle, 12-4 at the end of this map.
And we're seeing the prowess of holding down that C site. I mean, we saw it a lot when they were on the defense, of course, because they kind of had to. But it felt like the same sort of trappings. NC Virtual Academy trying to move on to C to try and defuse the spike this time around, except Research Triangle High School completely lock it down. Once again, setting up those crossfires, NC Virtual Academy just did not stand a chance. And now we're on this last round. It's going to be a disaster up here on the A site. As, okay, it's going to be the Thrash coming through, immediately gets shot down, and trade is going to happen, and just like that, it's going to be the Showstopper online, not able to find anybody, but still, the damage is kind of done.
The space itself is the damage by proxy here. Full site control. Killjoy is going to take a couple seconds to get here, so maybe a few seconds afforded the NC Virtual Academy retake. But that rotation, I love this decision by the Breach. Last time we saw this, it was indeed that rotation to hell that was the problem. And Jack ends up smoking heaven, going through that decision on that rope. Finds the kill, refrag is there, but not by much. And Noel's position sitting in hell will find the final blow. Research Triangle, absolutely clinical through and through here on Lotus, 13-4 to close it.
I really just have to commend Research Triangle High School for how they were playing that map. I mean, obviously we're not too sure whose map pick that was, but the amount of teamwork that was kind of coming into there was amazing. As we kind of as we're moving through Valorant cycles, I think we're in the stage of Valorant right now where it's a lot of those micro plays that make such a huge difference in the rounds. And you can tell that there were so many little micro plays going on. Sure, overall they had a good idea on what wanted to happen, but the coordination of just like that fault line coming out, a flash, the TPs going around, as well as just swinging together, it looked so well done by Research Triangle High School, and they very much deserve this win.
Take a look at the numbers of this game. Bonsai 22-9. Jack was 21-11. The ACS for both of them in the 360s. Izumi did their best, as we saw back in their previous game, but unfortunately it's NC Virtual Academy 0-2 today here in the Northeast region, and that in and of itself could be their downfall. There are not that many weeks of this regional play left. I believe this is one of the final weeks of play, as a matter of fact, and that's where you have to be concerned for Bonsai and company. Problems developing from multiple perspectives and now losses against multiple teams.
Yeah, I mean, even when you kind of look at the other side of things, Ice Bear didn't even have an opportunity really to play the game that much, if I'm being completely honest. It felt like either they were getting trapped in by Research Triangle High School's utility usage, or some of those flanks were just too powerful for them to be able to overcome. And they were playing right to the tune of what Triangle wanted to do. So a tough loss for NC Virtual Academy, but I mean, obviously, we're not out of the season just quite yet, so there still are opportunities to see kind of like this squad pull their heads together. After some of these types of losses, that's the best learning opportunities to kind of figure out how do you start to pull things back and play it to your own tune.
Yeah, this is still time to recover, but that time is starting to dwindle. The first couple weeks have come and gone, and it's NC Virtual Academy here today with 2 separate losses on 2 separate maps against 2 separate teams here in the Northeast region. But again, the Northeast region is not the only region we have here in VESL. There's still 6 other live streams going on in the YouTube, so go to the live tab, go through, click on them, and focus up on whichever one you want to watch. Don't forget also, we've got Smash Bros. Tomorrow and Rocket League Friday, and on Friday through at least Saturday, if not Sunday as well, we've got our Fortnite standalone tournament for North Carolina high schools across the board if you'd like to join us for that. Again, same general time, 6 p.m. Eastern here on the VESL YouTube and on the VESL Twitch as well. Hopefully we'll see you for any one of those broadcasts. Massive shout out to Marks. First time we've cast it in a year and a day. It's been a little while, but glad we were able to get back in the swing of things. Also, shout out to our producer, Sports CTC, allowing us to bring these broadcasts to you, and of course VESL as well. But that's it for Valorant. Again, Smash tomorrow, Rocket League and Fortnite Friday. That's the one I was looking for. Don't miss any of the streams across the board, of course, with week 4 continuing then. We'll see you. Bye.